welcome into the box score last week of the regular season. Jeff Barnes along with Terry Collins, and we're going to start right into a game that I did last Friday night when Cannon County comes over to Watertown and plays them, and Cannon County girls get a big win to set up a showdown this week at Westmoreland for the number 1 seed. Of course, Cannon County undefeated at 5-0 in the district with that 55-31. A very balanced effort by the Lionettes. Jenna Bush and Addie King lead the way with 11 points each, when Franklin leads Watertown with 8. Watertown, of course, has got Smith County this week, so they've got an opportunity if they get a win and win a coin toss to get third. Westmoreland beats Cannon County, then they'll have a flip for who the number 1 seed is. Go ahead and look at the boys game. Cannon County gets the big road win. Eli Pelham, outstanding game for the Lions. He had 21 points. I had him at 12 rebounds. Theo Winters with 14 points. Trent Spradlin leading the way for Watertown with 19. Chase McConnell inside had 10 for the Purple Tigers. The boys side, a little bit set, Jeff, when it looks to that, because with Smith County's win against Westmoreland, which we'll get in those scores in a minute, Smith County is going to be the number 1 seed. The winner of Westmoreland and Cannon County at Westmoreland this week on the boys side will be 2. The loser will be 3. They'll turn around and play each other in the first round of the district tournament, and Smith County is going to host Watertown. So we know, what's going to shake down at Bill Lander Gym on that Saturday night, February the 18th.
I know you and I talked about this last week, and it was going to be a situation to where, teams going into the last week of the regular season are going to have to turn around again. And so they're going to be very familiar with each other in the last two weeks. The Watertown-Cannon game, I know Watertown likes to keep the score low. Just too much Pelham and Winters.
Right. They did an outstanding job. Had a very balanced effort for head coach Jared Nave. And let's go ahead and look at the Sonica Carthage girls scoreboard for District 7A. Clay County gets the big win at home over Gordonsville to wrap up the regular season championship and the number 1 seed in the upcoming tournament at Jackson County High School in Gainesboro. Pickett County, I think, went on the road and got a big win at Clark Range, 65-62 in Red Boring Springs. A big 34-point win over Charleston County. Charleston County is the number 1 seed out of District 8A, and in all likelihood going to wrap up on Thursday night when they beat STEM, because they've already beat them about 40 when they met earlier. But, Charleston County, the number 1 seed, they're going to run into a tough opponent, the number 4 seed out of District 7A, Jeff.
Oh, yeah, and, what a great win that was for Red Boiling Springs. A heck of a win for them. And Clark Range had a chance to lock up a top 2 spot, but Pickett County had other plans.
Of course, that could wind up a 3-way tie for second place on the girls' side. Let's go ahead and look at the Sonic of Carthage scoreboard. Van Buren County on Monday night plays Clark Range, beats them 56-49. Then Pickett County, a big win over Gordonsville. At Gordonsville, Clay County beats Jackson County. Then Clark Range beats Stone Memorial, and Van Buren County edges Red Boiling Springs in Spencer.
And tough places to play, and that's up on the mountain. Van Buren, a couple of good wins there. Clark Range, you got Lamar versus Mike Buck. It's always a good matchup. Lamar wins that battle.
Let's go ahead and look at the standings. Of course, Clay County's wrapped up the number 1 seed. Gordonsville's going to be the number 5 seed. We know we'll have a DTC game of the week with Gordonsville, and whoever the number 4 seed is. It could be Clark Range, could be Pickett, could be Red Boiling. We know Clay County's going to be the 1 seed. We know Gordonsville's going to be the 5. But still a couple of very important district games coming up this week.
And Pickett County, Terry, a win and a loss by Clark Range, and they can get that 2 spot.
Right.
And it's probably but you never know. Still a lot to be decided between 2, 3, and 4, because Pickett can go up as high as 2. They could drop down to a 4.
Yeah, it definitely could. Let's go ahead and look at the Sonic of Carthage scoreboard as far as the boys go. Gordonsville only scoring 9 points when they lost at Jackson County in Gainesboro in the first half. They only had 9 points against Clay County. They wound up losing that game 45-26. So Clay County, the number 1 seed, Gordonsville, the number 2 seed. Pickett, the 3 seed, and then Clark Range and Red Boiling are going to be in that 4-5 play-in game. On the boys' side, Pickett gets a big win over Clark Range. Red Boiling gets a big win over Trousdale County. Then on Saturday night, Monroe County, Kentucky, out of Tompkinsville beats Red Boiling Springs 62-38. Other scores from Sonic, sponsored by Sonic of Carthage. On Monday night, Van Buren County beats Clark Range by 13. Then on Tuesday night, you had Gordonsville at home, wrapping up second place in the district. They're still going to play Pickett. It's just they're going to be the home team. Pickett's going to be the visitor when they lock up in that semifinal game in Gainesboro in that 2-3 matchup. Clay County gets a narrow win over Jackson County, Stone Memorial over Clark Range, and Van Buren County edges Red Boiling. Red Boiling playing a lot better. They've lost a lot of close games. I was talking to Andrew Molnix earlier in the week, and he's hoping that since his team is kind of turning the corner, they got a big win over Trousdale, that they can make some noise in that 4-5 game in the District 7A tournament. Of course, they'll play right after the Gordonsville girls play on that Tuesday night, February the 14th. Let's go ahead and look at the standings. Clay County sitting on top there at 7-0. Gordonsville in the second spot, Pickett the third slot, and then Clark Range and Red Boiling, as we talked about, they'll be in that 4-5 matchup, regardless of what happens in the games coming up this week.
Gordonsville had a chance to possibly tie for first, but Clay just a little too strong that night for him. Clay has been a solid one all year. Now it looks like it's going to be picking Gordonsville. Clark Range, Red Boiling Springs, just a matter of who gets to host.
Right. And, when you look, of course, that game's going to be at Gainesboro, that 4-5 play-in game. They don't settle out theirs out. They're going to all one central location, which is at Jackson County High School in Gainesboro. And when you look at these teams and playing at Jackson County, I know Gordonsville and Clay have played there. Red Boiling has played there. I'm not sure about Clark Range and Pickett, but when you look at that, Jeff, actually having to play at least one regular season game there, that could be an advantage when it comes to the tournament.
I think so too. You and I've talked about Red Boiling Springs. Yes, they're 2-19, but next week it's 0-0,
yeah.
and we are wondering, are they going to be able to pull off a huge upset to start the tournament? This will be the time to do it, and on a neutral court where nobody has home field advantage or home court advantage. This, it could go either way.
When you look at Red Boiling and Clark Range, I don't know that either one of those can beat Clay County, and I don't mean that in a bad kind of way, but Rob Edwards' team is a seasoned bunch. They're state tournament tested. They've made deep runs in the postseason before. And I think there's just too much of a gap between number 1 seed and number 4 and 5 seeds.
Yeah, and when we talk about 4 and 5, Clark Range and Red Boiling Springs, that's going to be a good game. After it's over, what's your reward? Clay County.
Right, but at least you're in the region tournament, and that's what you're playing for. Yes. And of course, in the region, you're going against Trousdale County and Joe Burns, East Robertson, that bunch. So, which are some tough teams, but Red Boiling Springs has sat there and played Trousdale County and already beaten them. They may have to pull up an upset in the consolation game in order to get maybe a favorable matchup for themselves. But we'll just have to wait and see. We'll have more of the box score when we return. We'll look at District 6 AA and 7 AAA as we remind you, you're watching the box score, sponsored by Carthage Safeway.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business. We'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
Life moves fast, and that means all of your technology should too. DTC is proud to be your local technology partner, helping you connect what matters most, no matter where you are or what you do.
Realize your inner superhero with faster internet from DTC. Get a $50 bill credit when you sign up or upgrade your internet. We're talking unlimited plans with speeds up to 1 gig.
DTC Communications, connecting what matters most.
And welcome back to the Box Score. Terry Collins along with Jeff Barnes and Justin Malden, always doing the hard work behind the cameras, and we appreciate his work each and every week. We'll go ahead and look at the District 6AA girls scoreboard. Started with Sonic of Carthage sponsoring that. On Friday night, Westmoreland comes to Carthage, gets a big win over Smith County, 44-28. Cannon County gets the win over Watertown, 55-31. And then on Monday night, went over to watch Watertown. They shot the ball well and beat Trousdale County 61-31, making threes and everything. I was talking to Darren Brown, their principal, a guy that actually helped me on the DTC game in the Cannon Watertown game. He said, well, I should have given away free popcorn if they scored over 60, but Watertown has struggled to score, and Jeff, that was a welcome relief for Coach Keller and his charges.
Yeah, that's, we've been seeing 30s, predominantly right. 40s from them, and to get a 30-point victory over Trousdale. Trousdale just having trouble finding offense as we hit the month of February.
Of course, they still are the number 1 seed out of that district, 8. Looking at some more scores, Sonic of Carthage from earlier this week, Smith County without Addison Hawkins, their point guard. She's out with a concussion. Gets the win over Trousdale, 65-45. Senior night for the Owls and Lady Owls. Cannon County goes on the road, beats Meigs County 53-50, and Westmoreland playing the border to their north in Scottsville, Kentucky. They beat Allen County 50-40. Let's go ahead and look at the girls' standings. Cannon County sitting on top at 5-0, Westmoreland right behind them at 4-1. Those teams tangle in Westmoreland with first place on the line. Of course, Cannon County wins it, they automatically the number 1 seed. Westmoreland would be 2. If Westmoreland were to win against Cannon, of course, Cannon won earlier by 1, then they would have to have a coin flip to decide who the first place is. Same thing with Smith County and Watertown. Smith County's only win in the district came in home 43-30 over Watertown. They've got to go on the road to Watertown on Friday night. The way Watertown played offensively on Monday night, I'm sure Coach Jeff Keller is going to try to bottle that. Jeff, and hopefully his team comes out and hits some shots.
Yeah, and hopefully they can, get another, big win. It was a 24-point victory.
Right.
Cannon would love to lock up that top spot if they can. Beating Westmoreland, that's going to be a heck of a game right there, because if Westmoreland wins, just like you said, coin toss, and then Watertown just kind of sitting there to see, where do they go, Westmoreland or Cannon County?
Right. Of course, Westmoreland and Smith County. If Westmoreland were to beat Watertown were to beat Smith County, then that would be a coin toss for third. So we'll just have to see how that breaks out. Go ahead and looking at the 6AA boys Sonic of Carthage scoreboard. Smith County last Friday night wraps up the number 1 seed with a big 71-59 victory. The Owls shoot 64% from the floor in the second half to turn a 3-point deficit into a 12-point win. They went on a blitz in the third quarter, outscoring the Eagles 26-9 in that quarter to get a huge home win. The Owls are now up with their win on Tuesday night to 12-13 and seem to be playing their best basketball of the year for veteran head coach Trey Sanders. Cannon County gets the win on the road over Watertown 63-43 on Monday night. Westmoreland beat Franklin Classical, and Watertown defeats Charleston County. You got to see that. The score at halftime was Watertown 21, Charleston County 10, as the Yellow Jackets really struggled shooting the basketball and turning it over on Monday night. Let's go ahead and look at some more scores that we had from Tuesday night. Smith County last night on senior night beat Charleston County 66-42. Charleston led by 3 at the end of the first quarter. Smith County led by 3, but then the Owls hit their first 7 shots of the fourth quarter to stretch that lead. In fact, Smith County shot 72% in the second half to get the win over their neighbor rival Charleston. Cannon County goes on the road and gets a big win at Meigs County 77-64. In that game, Smith County's game, Clayton Rigsby suffered an ankle injury. Not sure how long he'll be out for the Owls. Of course, he may not play at Watertown, but then he's got 8 more days after that, after Friday night's game, to try to get back well. And sometimes, Jeff, at the end of the year, that's hard to do.
It is, because if you've got to take 2 or 3 weeks to recover, that's your season right there. And this is the time of the year that you want to be healthy, and coaches pretty much hold their breath at this time of year, hoping that everybody's healthy going into that second season. But with Smith County getting the win, Terry, got to feel good about our 6 AA teams with Cannon, Westmoreland, Smith, and even Watertown. Could they go and pull off some big upsets?
We'll just have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and look at the standings. Of course, Smith County's sitting there on top at 4-1. Even if they lose to Watertown, they own the tiebreaker since they beat Cannon County twice and split with Westmoreland. If there were to be a 2-way tie in that. So, having said that, Westmoreland and Cannon County, the winner of that game is 2, the loser is 3. Watertown locked in there at 4. Smith County's the number 1 seed. So not only is Smith County and Watertown going to play on Friday night, they're going to play 8 days later in Carthage in the semifinals of the district tournament. So you get to play the same opponent back to back.
Yeah, and that's a dangerous little combo there, because
Right.
When you have to turn around, a short time, a team can say, okay, we can correct this, we can correct that, and things could be a little bit different.
It'd be interesting to see if Kevin Honeycutt, I'm not saying he would do this, but he could experiment and do some different things, because really that game doesn't matter. Yes, it matters toward the standings, but as far as the seeding, it does not matter. So he may try some different things to see how the Owls react to that he may use the following Saturday night. Just have to wait and see.
So.
When you play back-to-back, that happens.
You bet.
Let's go ahead and look at the Sonic of Carthage girls scoreboard. A tremendously exciting offensive game. DeKalb County gets the win over Macon 85-80 at Smithville. That was last Thursday night, a makeup game. When you look, that was just up and down. It was like a tennis match going back and forth, and a highly entertaining game. Macon got back within 2, but couldn't get over the hump. as DeKalb County gets the win. On Friday night, you had more District 7 AAA play. Stone Memorial in a narrow win over Macon County. You got White County girls, a big win over Livingston. Livingston had an opportunity of the last 2 games to wrap up that regular season crown, couldn't do so as they lost to Upperman. We'll see here in a minute. Upperman beats Cumberland County. And as we flip the scoreboard to the next district game, which was Tuesday night, you see Upperman beats Livingston at Livingston 51-45. White County big over Macon, Park Range over Stone, and then Cumberland County narrowly defeats DeKalb. So now we've got, as we look at the standings, we've got a 2-way tie, Jeff, from first place in the girls with Upperman and Livingston. Upperman number 2 team in the state of Tennessee. Livingston number 4. White County sitting there at 7. Cumberland County at 8. There's some fantastic basketball teams right there.
Yeah, and you ready for me to kind of muddy it up a little bit here?
Yeah.
Upperman and Livingston tied for the tops. Say that there could be an upset. I mean, DeKalb is hosting Upperman. DeKalb plays tough at home. Could be an upset. Livingston playing Stone. Don't look for an upset, but you never know what could happen in that game. There could be a potential 3-way tie for first. Now it's a long shot, right, but there could be. But White County still could get at least a 2 out of it with an Upperman loss and a White County victory over Cumberland County. We know that the top 4 is locked. DeKalb, we know, is going on the road. They don't know if they're going to be going to either Cumberland County or White County.
Of course, DeKalb's going to be 5. Stone and Macon probably going, since they split, I think, during the regular season, they'll be in that 6-7. But I still don't see those bottom 3, and I'm not trying to be a doom and gloom guy. The 5, 6, or 7 seed going on the road and having to win in that first round of the district tournament. That's going to be a tough task.
That is. I mean, when you talk about DeKalb having to go to either Cumberland County or White County, Macon going to either Cumberland County or White County, and then Stone more than likely is going to see Livingston or Upperman. So it's these bottom tier teams, if they want to keep their seasons going, they're going to have to take down 4 teams that's ranked in the top 10.
Well, it's like somebody said, you don't have to beat them 4 out of 7 games. You've just got to beat them 1.
Just got 1, yeah.
Let's go ahead and look at the Sonica Carthage boys scoreboard. DeKalb County gets the big win over Macon. Then on Friday night, you had Stone Memorial big over Macon County. White County gets the win over Livingston by 9, and Upperman gets a 15-point win over Cumberland County.
And a good win for White County over Livingston. Stone Memorial just showing their dominance, 84 to 29. They're going to be tough, extremely tough to beat, and they're ranked number 2 in AAA.
Let's go ahead and look at the Sonica Carthage scores. Cumberland County over DeKalb County, Stone over Clark Range. Livingston gets the win at home over Upperman. Upperman up 7 after the third quarter. Livingston outscores them 13 in the final quarter to get that big win at home to sweep the season series from the Bees. They won, I think, by 2 at Baxter. White County gets the win over Macon County. Quickly looking at the standings, Stone Memorial on top. You got Livingston, Upperman, White County, probably going to finish 2, 3, and 4, and then DeKalb, Cumberland, and Macon in that order, finishing 5 through 7.
And that's 7 right there. That's pretty much set. No matter what happens, Livingston is going to be the 2. Stone gets to host. White County, it looks like it could be White County and DeKalb. Those 2 teams have had some good battles during the regular season. Looks like Cumberland's going to have to go to Upperman, and Macon has to go to Livingston.
We'll have NBA referee Ben Taylor, who's from Woodbury, now living in Orlando, for an interview when we return. As we remind you, you're watching the Box Score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with 1 truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Near Star Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business, we'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
Here's normal internet speed. Here's the gig difference. Average speed, gig. Not enough speed, gig speed. With gig internet from DTC, everything's different. Video streaming is a breeze. Music and photos fly. And gaming gets real with no data limits. That's the gig difference. Call or visit DTC online and get your gig today.
And here with Ben Taylor, he's a NBA referee, and Ben, I've known you a long time. I remember your playing days back at Cannon County High School. I don't know that we need to say exactly when that was. We may date you a little bit, but you know, to see you evolve from small Woodbury, Tennessee, to now being on the biggest stage, the NBA ref. First of all, congratulations for that.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
When you look at, tell us a little about your history. And when I say that, you know, what year you graduated high school, who you played for, all that runs together for me. Of course, I've been doing radio, I guess, since '86, but still Cannon County and Smith County, a longtime rival as far as inside the district. Tell us about Ben Taylor.
Yeah, so graduated from Cannon County High in 2004. And I played under, my last couple of years were under Tim Knox. Before that, it was Coach Alan Bush, who you guys probably know he's at Siegel now, I believe, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And so played under both of them. Wasn't all that good, but had a good time playing against Smith County and the Uppermans and all that, Livingstons and Jackson and all that. That was fun. But then went to Middle Tennessee State. Graduated there and with a public relations degree. I actually got, long story short, I got hired into the minor leagues of the NBA at what was called the NBA Development League at the time in 2007. So I was still a junior in college. And so I was refereeing games there, and then finally was able to work all that through all that, and then continued on for another 4 years in the D League, and finally got hired in the NBA in 2013.
Ben, you was talking about, you said that you wasn't a good player, but a lot of referees that I've talked to like to stay close to the game. They love sports. You know, they may not been able to excel to the biggest stage of them all, but they like to stay close to it. Was that your case?
I wouldn't say that was my case originally. Originally it kind of started as my coach was asked, it was Coach Bush, I think at the time, was asked if I could do, like if a friend asked, you guys probably know Corey Barrett. Corey Barrett's coach 11. So he was assigning games for like AAU basketball, and he asked Coach Bush if he knew anybody. And so Coach Bush asked me, and then gave him my name, and Corey called me. And at first I didn't want to do it because, as you guys know, my father, he coached for 30 years and probably been thrown out of every arena, every gym he ever coached in. So we weren't fans of referees necessarily, but I did it. I decided to do it because it seemed to pay pretty well. And that was the impetus of it all, was kind of the pay. And then once I did it one weekend on a Friday and Saturday, I loved it. And then I just figured out from there what else I needed to do. And then that was kind of the start of the whole journey.
Now, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but I was thinking you had refereed some high school games and some collegiate games before you got to be in it, full time.
Yeah, I did actually. I refereed. So one season, I believe one full season of high school varsity is what I did, because the next year I ended up breaking my ankle and couldn't officiate that next year. And so I was only one full season there. Then the year I got hired in the D League, which was in 2007, I also got a call I was hired in 2 Division I leagues, which was the Southern Conference and the Big South Conference. And then along with their affiliates of their D2 leagues that the assigners had there. I think it was the Conference Carolinas, the Stack 8, and there was one other one that I'm missing that I can't remember, but only worked maybe 15 to 25 college games as well before I really decided to just go all in on the pro game.
As a NBA ref, of course, you're at a different venue. Tell us how many games a week you do and what a travel schedule is for Ben Taylor on a weekly basis.
So weekly, I would say it's maybe 3 to 4 a week. It all depends on scheduling. We usually just tell people that I'm gone from home about 24 to 27 days out of the month. Like this week, this trip for me that I'm on right now is 14 days. So I can't really tell you where I'm going to after this, but so far to date, I worked the Brooklyn Nets game probably about 6, 7, 8 days ago. Then I went down to San Antonio and worked there. Then I flew back to New York and worked in Brooklyn. And then I flew to Detroit, and then I'm here in DC now, and I still have 2 more games to go before I fly home.
I guess just the winter travel, and when I say that, we've seen a lot of flights canceled. You had a lot there during the Christmas break that got canceled. That can wreak havoc on your schedule and whoever's trying to schedule not only you, but the many different refs for the NBA that they use.
Yeah, so true. During that time, we did have some issues as far as like referees not being able to get out and having to change schedules with other referees to get those games covered, if I remember correctly. But yeah, knock on wood, I haven't had. Nowadays, with the way our contract works, is I fly direct to cities I don't connect to often. So if I can fly direct, usually less problems come about. So it's been nice to just kind of, luckily, like I said, knock on wood, not have any issues so far in the last year.
Ben, there's a lot of stars in the NBA like LeBron, Luka Doncic, also Steph Curry. Do you ever sit back or take a step back and realize that, oh my gosh, I'm refereeing these games with such big stars of the NBA?
Well, I just actually had this conversation with my wife the other day. We were sitting around somewhere. I think we were sitting in a public bar one night and just hanging out, having dinner. And all of a sudden, the highlights of my game is up on the TV. And I just look over at her and I'm like, can you believe I do this? Like, I'm up on that screen right now. It really does hit you. And it's not so much the magnitude of the players. It's more the magnitude of the eyeballs that are getting to see you on a nightly basis. And you're like, oh man, I can't believe I really do that. And these millions of people watch this. And it's kind of cool.
Being as a referee, of course, I guess my granddad not pushed me, but invited me to get into refereeing. He told me, he said, Terry, you won't be able to play forever, which I got an opportunity to play college basketball at Ball State. I enjoyed that. He said, but, being a referee will keep you a part of the game. And it's something I enjoyed doing and got an opportunity to do in high school and then right out of high school. But he said, I've got one piece of advice for you. And I said, well, Granddaddy, what was that? Unfortunately, I lost him when I was 10, but he instilled that love of sports with me. And he said, Terry, when you make a call, only 25% of the people are going to agree with you. And I said, Granddaddy, what are you talking about? He said, when you make a call, it's against one team. So 50% of those people aren't going to like you. And he said 50% of the ones that you made the call for are going to say, he missed that, but we'll take it and go on from there. So I've always thought 25% is about the best you can be when it comes to officiating. I know that's probably tongue-in-cheek, but still, you got to have thick skin. That's for sure.
That's very true. Like tonight, I'm working here in Washington, and you're exactly right. Like, I can make a call tonight and they go against the Wizards and the whole place is coming down on me. And it's just part of the gig. Like, it's something you kind of learn to live for. Like, you're like, this is my moment. This is an opportunity. Like, this is a foul. I've got to call it. I owe it to the league. I owe it to my job, to the integrity of my profession, to call this regardless of what anybody else thinks. And that's kind of a moment that you have to just hold on to and embrace. Really.
A lot of athletes critique themselves. They watch film and everything. Do you do that, Ben? Are you real hard on yourself when it comes to being a referee?
Yeah, that's a great question, actually. And yes, I am. Like, we at the NBA, we have such great technology, to be honest with you. We actually have an app now that we can use on, like, I'm talking to you on an iPad right now. I can use this iPad, and there's an application that is made just for us. I can pull it up. I can watch any game that had taken place tonight or any night previous. And so when my game is done tonight, within a couple of hours, the game will have been downloaded onto our app, and I can pull it up, and I will definitely watch it either tonight after the game is over and stay up really late, or if I have a later flight the next day, I will watch it during the day the next day. And yes, I'm very critical of my work. And the good thing is I have partners that are the same way, and we talk back and forth about what we could have done or should have done better, and then the things that we did well too, obviously.
Ben, when you look with such social media presence everywhere now, if you miss a call, it's leading ESPN, SportsCenter. It's such a magnitude of the game that you're in, because you're at the highest level. The best athletes in the world are there. They're very fast. It's amazing to me when I went to my first NBA game, which was actually in Nashville, was an exhibition game. We sat close to, right. It was a close up view of those athletes and how they could move. And I'm talking about, 6'11", 7-foot people that could run the floor like we would consider guards. Makes your job awfully tough when you have athletes of that magnitude, I guess, trying to referee their games.
You're so right. I always tell anybody, Terry, that if I could put them on the first row of an NBA game so they could see that the speed and the finesse and the talent of these men up close and personal, they would be flabbergasted. I really don't think they would be able to comprehend our job that we do. Now, do we miss plays? Obviously, we're going to miss plays, but I accredit some of those missed plays to the insane speed that these players come at us with, and how sometimes the hand is definitely quicker than the eye. Our players make moves in such rapid speed. Sometimes it makes our job really, really, really tough.
Ben, you've been doing this a long time on the NBA level, and there's a lot of crazy things that I've seen on the NBA games, like fights will break out, tempers will flare up because you've got two stars clashing together. Is there any particular instance you can pick out in your NBA refereeing career that kind of stands out from all of them?
If I just could pick out one thing in general, it would probably be I was on the floor working in Miami when LeBron James still played there. and it was the night he scored his highest points ever. I think it was 61. He was playing against the Charlotte Hornets at the time. And when we got in the fourth quarter and he made his 50, I think he had gotten 57, maybe it was even 55. The crowd started, you could feel it in the arena. You could just feel that aura of like, oh, something good's happening here. And like the ball kept getting fed to him, like, okay, all right. Like you look up at the Jumbotron and you're like, oh, he's got 57. So we all know what's going on here. He's trying to go for 60. And you know, it's just getting to be a part of that is the best thing, honestly. Like you still have a job to do, but when it happens, and if it does happen, it's getting to be a part of it. It's just like the crew that worked so nicely last night in LA is getting to be a part of that moment. No one knows that you're there more than likely, but you know you were there, and it was a moment in time that you'll get to remember for the rest of your life, and you'll get to tell your kids and your grandkids.
Ben, when you look at the game of basketball as far as the NBA goes, you know, when I followed it in the 80s, it was mostly United States players. But now it's international and all over the world. And you see that when they have their draft, you know, you see from every country all over the world, these athletes coming in there. And I know, you know, not that y'all talk to them a lot, but a lot of them don't speak English. Does that make it kind of hard to communicate with these players? Because a lot of times, especially their rookie year, I'm sure, you know, they have people that are teaching them the language, but when it's different cultures like that colliding, I guess, on the NBA hardwood, it makes it pretty tough for y'all as well as the actual fellow players.
Well, you know what, to be honest, Terry, is you'd be surprised at this, I guess, is all of our foreign-born players and players who are just coming from overseas, I've not had one that I've encountered that absolutely could not hold a conversation with me.
Wow, that's great.
Like, yeah, they really come in. And I also think it's because of FIBA basketball. I know that FIBA basketball, which is played in almost that's the rules that govern all professional sports except for in the United States. I know the prerequisite for a FIBA official is that you have to be able to speak conversational English. And so I think that helps maybe, and that the FIBA game, if that's what a FIBA referee has to be able to speak. So I'm assuming maybe the players do a good job of learning it as well so that they can have those conversations maybe with just referees or their coach or whoever it may be. So they're really pretty fluent, to be honest.
Ben, I want to take you back to 2020 when the start of the pandemic took place. The NBA went kind of a bubble. It was pretty much in one location. How was that a big challenge for the referees in addition to the players?
You know what? The only thing that I would say was probably different. Well, first of all, is I was actually, just for a historical reference, I was on the game that shut everything down, Oklahoma City and Utah in Oklahoma City. I was there that night, and so that was kind of crazy. But then fast forward to the bubble, is I would say the only thing that was kind of really different for us, like the NBA did a great job of housing us and keeping us all in there and taking care of us. Just the time that you couldn't go home. That was probably the hardest thing. Like I spent 83 days in there, and that's tough more on your family than it is probably on you as the referee. But one thing that all of us almost all agree on is it was probably also the healthiest we had all been throughout a whole season of finishing up a season, because we didn't have to hop on a plane. We didn't have to change air pressure. We weren't waking up at 3 a.m. to catch a flight at 5 a.m. So we were really pretty well rested and recovered quite well, and had very little. I don't think we had any injuries, to be quite honest, during that time. And we usually have several during the basketball season.
Ben, when you look, your daddy, Teddy, a good friend of mine, has been. He's WBRY, Cannon County Basketball. He's their guy that's on the radio. And, of course, there's a camaraderie there, one that I'm going to miss if Cannon and Smith doesn't play next year. But looking, I know that, still being a part of the game as we are as, either on the radio or TV or whatever, I guess the older I get, and I've been doing it since 1986, the more special I realize how blessed I am just to be in this position. I'm sure you would echo those sentiments.
Totally. My wife and I, we kind of started this little, I guess you could end up calling it a tradition or a culture that we have in our family of like, like I'll make up a number to her. I'm like, here's reason number 7,406 that I'm grateful. And we have all these reasons. And they all have to do with my profession and the game of basketball. Like I started having a basketball in my hand. My dad put a basketball in my hand when I was like 3 years old. And the game of basketball has never not been in my life since that age, really. And I'm very thankful for this job that I can do, and I love it. And the only downside is the travel, that I don't get to see my wife and my son as often as many other people who get to go to work and come back home from work get. But if that's the only thing, then the other 99% I'm extremely grateful for.
Being along the line of your wife and family, we talk about coaches' wives, players' wives, how they become widows during the season. Talk about being the wife of an NBA referee, where you talk about you was on the road for a couple of weeks. It takes a special kind of person to be understanding that way.
Yeah, I would say she's wife, mom, psychologist. She holds many different titles. There's been many nights where she'll text me how the game went, and I'll be like, awful. I did this, and this. And I was so mad at myself. And she turns into psychologist mode then, and is like, it's okay, it's one game, so on and so forth. And she's just there to listen, which is nice. It's very nice to have. And in the moments where I say I was great tonight, she doesn't have to say too much then. So she's totally the bedrock of the family. And like you said, I sometimes call her a single married mom, because she does it all by herself so much.
Being your season, and we'll try to wind this thing down, but they start in October, they go to June is when the NBA finals are. And if you're fortunate enough, you get to call some playoff games. Tell us, in the off season, what does Ben Taylor do?
Usually it's a lot of golf and spending time with my family, and also I try as best we can schedule it out to go teach officiating to other referees. So I'm a member at a club that I play golf at, and luckily it's only like 7 minutes from my house. So I go do that, but then when my son's home and my wife, we try to plan trips together. And then, like I said, there's a couple of camps that I try to go to if we can schedule them out as a family, and if they work, that's great. Like I said, this is what I love to do, so I love to get back and teach. But those are about the three mainstays during my off season. Like you said, work into June, usually, hopefully, and then I have till about mid-September, probably early September, because you got to start getting ready for the next season.
Well, Ben Taylor, we appreciate you visiting with us. I know you're in Orlando now, at least part of the time. You're on the road most of the time. But I know, in speaking as a Middle Tennessean and just an acquaintance, and watching you play, and then you develop into what it is today, pretty amazing to come from small Woodbury, Tennessee, to the largest stage that literally millions of people watch NBA games every night.
Yeah, it's been pretty great. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Ben Taylor, been visiting with him, and we'll have more. And when we return to the box score, brought to you by Carthage Safeway.
Do you ever worry about the safety of your home when you leave? Or at night while you're sleeping? Then give your home a professional security makeover with help from DTC Security.
For just $49.99, get a system with a touch keypad, 3 window or door sensors, motion detector, key fob, and standard installation. Don't put off this important decision.
Contact us and start your home's DTC Security Makeover today.
Preston Brothers Construction knows what it takes to get your next building project completed the right way and the way that you want it done. As a licensed, bonded, and insured general contractor serving Woodbury and surrounding counties, you can trust Preston Brothers to put their many years of experience to work for you. For help with the design, construction, or management of your next residential or commercial building project, there's only one team to call: Preston Brothers Construction, 615-563-2885.
From payroll and bookkeeping to expert tax preparation and advice, H&R Block is ready to work for you. For the year-round services you need and the one-on-one attention you deserve, Partner with H&R Block Business Services. You focus on your business. We'll handle the books. Call today to make an appointment with our Carthage, Smithville, or Woodbury office. H&R Block Business Services, helping your business prosper with a unique combination of services, expertise, and convenient locations.
Hello, I'm Bruce Daniel. I've lived in Cannon County all my life. For the last 59 years, I've only made it across the highway. I married my wife, Melody, in 1981. We hauled our first load of freight in 1983 with one truck and a couple old barred trailers. We found a way to make it. Our employees are the backbone of our company. Some of our team members have been with us for more than 30 years.
Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville is hiring. We have open positions for master, certified, and experienced heavy-duty maintenance techs, maintenance supervisor, entry-level and experienced miners and exploration infill drillers, grade operator, electricians, laboratory and metallurgical technician, senior metallurgist, and more. We offer competitive wages, excellent benefits, PTO, holiday pay, exceptional 401k, and lots more. Make the most of your future and your career. Join the excellent team at Nearstar Middle Tennessee Mines in Gordonsville.
Your trusted friend for all your grocery needs in Smith County is Carthage Safeway, your home-owned and home-operated supermarket. From the delicious USDA steaks in their meat department to the freshest produce around, Carthage Safeway is proud to serve you and your family. Todd and Angela Skurlock and everyone at Carthage Safeway are always there with a friendly smile and a helping hand. Great service, prices, and selection. That's Carthage Safeway, 80 Dixon Springs Highway, Carthage.
And welcome back to the box score for our final segment. We're going to look at some upcoming games. A lot of those are very, very important, determining district seedings. You've got Red Boiling Springs at Pickett County on Thursday night, Clay County at Macon County in a non-district game. But that Red Boiling Springs at Pickett, a big game, both girls and boys.
Yeah, and Red Boiling Springs with a win, if they can pull one off at Pickett County, can move up to a 3. So that's going to be a good game right there. Otherwise, Red Boiling Springs could be facing a Gordonsville team.
Looking on Friday night, you've got Eagleville at Gordonsville. That's our Huff and Puff Trucking Game of the Week on DTC Sports. Then Monterey at Red Boiling, non-district game. Of course, Monterey out of District 5 AA at Red Boiling. Clay County then at Clark Range. That is a big game, especially on the girls' side, not necessarily the boys, because Clark Range is locked in that 4-5 matchup. Clay County at number 1, but still for the girls now, Clay County's locked into 1, but Clark Range can move up or down depending on the win or loss.
Clark Range needs this game. They win. They've got at least a 2 seed locked up, but they would probably need a Pickett loss to go along with that.
Clark Range at Cumberland County on Saturday night. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games for the district tournament. We do know it's at Jackson County High School in Gainesboro. We know the 4-5 girls will be Gordonsville, will be the number 5. They'll play at 6 o'clock on that Tuesday, February 14th. And we know that the second game will be Clark Range and Red Boiling Springs boys at 7:30. Then you got the girls and boys semifinals. Clay County has locked up the number 1 seeds. They'll play the winner of 4-5. And then 2-3 boys, we do know that set. Gordonsville will be the number 2 seed. Pickett boys will be the number 3. We'll just have to see. And on February 20th and 21st, we'll have the girls and boys consolation and championship from the District 7A tournament. Let's go ahead and look at some more upcoming games. Smith County at Watertown. That could have some play as far as the girls. The boys already locked in. Cannon County at Westmoreland. Of course, that same thing. The winner of the Cannon-Westmoreland boys is 2. The loser is 3. And the winner of the Cannon-Westmoreland girls could be 1, could be 2, depending on if Westmoreland wins, then it's a coin flip. If Cannon wins, they win it outright. And then on Saturday night, a tough opponent for Cannon County, especially in that girls. They're traveling down to Central Magnet. I think last time I checked, they were about 23-4 there at the old Central High School in Murfreesboro. Let's go ahead and look at the District 6 AA girls and boys semifinals. Boys semifinals are set. On Saturday night, February the 18th, it will be Smith County hosting Watertown, and then that 2-3 game will be Cannon County and Westmoreland. The girls will have to see what happens on Friday night. Then on Monday and Tuesday, the next week, we'll have the girls and boys consolation and championships from Bill Randers Gym in Carthage. Let's go ahead and look at 7 AAA now. Things, as Jeff says, could get muddy there depending on what happens. You got Macon County in a non-district game playing Clay County. Then you've got Upman at DeKalb on Friday night, White County at Cumberland, Stone at Livingston. Boys-wise, everything kind of set, but the girls' side, Jeff, could these games could be very important.
A lot of questions on the girls' side. Upperman needs a win in Smithville to force at least a tiebreaker. We know probably Livingston could be taking care of business with Stone Memorial, so that's going to be a huge game right there for Upperman to try and win to force a coin flip. White County still not in it. They have to win. They have to win, or they could drop down to as low as 4 with a loss against Cumberland County.
Clark Range at Cumberland County and Crossville on Saturday night, the only non-district game that we will have on that Saturday night. Of course, a lot of teams still scrambling to see who their opponents are going to be. Of course, some people are meeting on Friday, February the 10th. On Saturday, February the 11th that morning. Some people are waiting on Monday, the 13th, in order to have the coin tosses or figure out the tiebreakers when it comes to that. So they'll select the all-district teams, and of course, stay tuned right here to DTC3. We'll try to bring you all up-to-date coverages of those 3 district that we cover, which is District 7A, 6AA, and 7 AAA. Let's go ahead and look at the upcoming games as far as the tournament goes. All the higher seeds will host until we get to the consolation and championship. So we know that Stone Memorial boys, if they don't get upset, will be hosting that consolation and championship. We still don't know. It'll be Upland or Livingston that will be the top seed on the girls. So if it comes down to a coin toss, it's going to be a very important coin toss, because that means you could be hosting that championship game right there on your home floor versus having to go on the road, which could be big in that Upman Livingston game, because that's going to be a close ball game.
It is, and it's they had a good close game. Last night, Upperman getting the win, and so I'm sure that Livingston would like to get a victory and hope that Upperman gets a loss, or if they can win a coin toss, because I'm not sure if they want to go to Upperman to play for that game against Baxter.
Right, they played there and won by 2, just like their boys did back earlier. I think that was in January. Looking at the as far as the quarterfinals, they begin on Valentine's Day, which is on Tuesday, February the 14th. And then we've got a feature game, which is going to be Eagleville at Gordonsville. Of course, that Eagleville-Gordonsville game at Eagleville was a showstopper. Eagleville gets a shot at the buzzer to beat Gordonsville by 2, one of their very few losses for the year to that point. Of course, Gordonsville on a little bit of a slide. They did rebound with a win over Pickett earlier this week, but still, that'll be a tough task for both teams. Of course, Gordonsville girls on a slide. They've lost 11, 12 ball games in a row. They're looking to try to build some momentum for that 4-5 game that they're going to be playing on Tuesday night when they will travel to Gainsborough to play in that play-in game. And I know with Greg Bibb, his team has struggled to score a little bit. So we'll just have to see how that comes out. On Tuesday, February 14th at 7, Thursday and Friday at 7, and then on Wednesday day at 1 o'clock will be the replay dates on Eagleville at Gordonsville. For Justin Malden and Jeff Barnes, I'm Terry Collins. Good night from the Box Score.